Hello, everyone. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak today. Cindy asked me to give an update to everybody on where we are with the our wine grape pest and disease control district coalition effort. A little background, we've been working on this since July of 2020. We mailed petitions earlier this year, and then kind of took a break for harvest. So we're kind of picking it back up here now, and we still have some work to do. For those of you who don't know me, I am Jason Sailing. I'm the chair of this coalition, and we've been working together here for quite some time. Also the president of the Sonoma County Vineyard Technical Group, and I do grower relations here at Rodney Strong Vineyards. Okay, so what is a pest control district? I think a lot of people still have this question. A pest and disease control district is a legally recognized and funded commodity-specific special district. So this applies in California, there are special districts, pest control districts for wine grapes, table grapes, citrus, cotton, rice, olives, and others. They are by and for the stakeholders, so the growers specifically of that specific commodity. And it's funded by those growers. So it's funding research and empowering growers for rapid response, which tomorrow we're going to hear about rapid response to the GWIS infestation in Solano County. And I know that the Napa County Wine Grape Pest and Disease Control District extended resources for that rapid response, monitoring, eradicating pests and or diseases affecting the specific crop. That's what a pest control district is, and that's what it does. This is not new. This isn't a new concept. The first pest control district in California was started in 1922. It was the Fillmore, Peru Citrus District. It ran until the collapse of the Valencia orange market and ceased operations in 2005. I like to include this photo in any of my presentations because I just think it's so cool. This is a Studebaker electric commercial truck going out to release beneficial insects into the vineyard as part of a pest control district effort. It says right here, larger crops, cleaner fruit, and less cost, which is all true. There are currently 18 pest control districts operating in California. I'll put Napa counties right here at the top. But there's also the consolidated Central Valley Table Grape Pest and Disease Control District. That was consolidated in 2005. That covers Kern and Tulare counties and about 150,000 acres of table grapes. There's rice, the Rice Pest Abatement District #1 since 1960. A lot of these were started in the pre-2000s. So we have 1945 for the Lookout Pest Abatement District, Stronghold Newell, 1953 for the Imperial Citrus Pest Control District. And these are still operating. So you can see that once these are up and running, rarely will they shut down. I think, if the market drops out for any of these, then obviously they'll wrap them up. I think this is the best example of a mission statement. And this is from the Tulare County Table Grape Pest and Disease Control District. Their scope of tasks. This district provides an organizational structure which allows table grape growers to take a leadership role and provide direction in partnership with the government agencies who are involved in developing pest and disease control programs. This is very important because I constantly get the question of, couldn't the Ag Commissioner's Office be doing more? Couldn't the UC be doing more? Well, can't growers also be doing more? Realistically, we need to take control of our own future. And by setting up a pest and disease control district, it allows us to not necessarily replace or supersede any of the work funded by the government, but to augment it, to provide leadership and organization, ensure continued government support and involvement. And this would keep an eye specifically on wine grapes for wine grape growers, which I think is paramount. Okay, so who runs a PCD once it's set up? Owners or their appointed growers run a pest control district. So the state law allows for 5 directors. The initial board is appointed by the Sonoma County Board of Supervisors, and then the replacements are approved through the Board of Supervisors. But these are stakeholders. It's a stakeholder-run organization. Only they decide what happens with the total sum of the funds collected through an assessment, and the assessment is applied to each acre of wine grapes. The growers decide which issues need more funding, research, direction, communication, and resolution. Growers prioritize it. Growers write the bylaws, and this has to be renewed every 5 years. So, if you're falling out of favor, or if it's not really doing what it's designed to do, there's an opportunity every 5 years to review that. Would a pest and disease control district be a new regulatory agency? I get this question often also. No, it is a grower-run board that determines the use of the assessment, just as I was mentioning. It is not a policing agency. That's not the job of pest and disease control district. Pest control district is legally able to collaborate with like districts also. So when we get one done here in Sonoma County, we could collaborate with Napa County, and if Mendo Lake and Marin all get together, which people are already working on this in some other counties, we could form a consolidated district here in the North Coast. So how's it going in Sonoma County since we mailed the petitions? So this is acres here on the left and number of growers who have returned petitions. Our goal for grower count is 900. We're about a third of the way there right now. And the goal for acreage is actually 40,000. You can see here, this kind of came in on growers and acres kind of on a similar trajectory. Lately, we've been getting a lot of larger growers signing on and larger parcels. So it's creating an uptick in our acreage count. And what do we need now? What is this district? What does our effort need? Basically, we need all the rest of you that are listening to this that are involved in wine grapes. We need a team effort to help complete the petitioning process. So when we mail these petitions, a lot of them are going out of state to out-of-state owners that aren't necessarily directly involved with the farming of the properties that they own. So if you are involved as PCA, a vineyard manager, or a consultant, please reach out to the owners and ask them if they've received this petition, if they've seen it. I'll provide a link here below where you can also access that and you can send it electronically. But yeah, we need owners to return the petition so that we can bring this to the Board of Supervisors and get it finished up. So I was mentioning our goals. So our goals, is to petition the Sonoma County Board of Supervisors for the district approval. And we need 40,000 acres to do that with a count of 900 growers. This is a copy of the petition this is a small screenshot of the petition we mailed out, but I'll show you where to access that here in a moment. Why do we need this? Well, economics is really top line for a lot of people and for me, and saving this industry here. But this is to address new and existing threats. So spotted lanternfly, we've been hearing a lot about. Glassy winged sharpshooter, which as climate is warming up, it's moving further north. We see that. We saw that in Sonoma County. Brown marmorated stink bug, which is already around. European grapevine moth, vine mealybug, you name it. You can add this to this list here. What does it cost to me as a grower? The state law allows for $5 maximum, so it's $5 or less per acre, depending on the budget that's set by the first board. And so I calculated that out. The average cost per grower in Sonoma County would be $166. People were spending about 4 times that yesterday trying to get Taylor Swift tickets. So just something to think about. You get 60,000 acres at $5 an acre. So it's a maximum budget for the pest control district of $300,000. This doesn't necessarily limit the district to $300,000. If growers are funding a program and need fund matching, the unity of this district and the ability to go after government funding for matching is all right there. So that's a tool for that as well. So $300,000 divided by 1,800 growers here in Sonoma County, $166 per grower. What does that really mean when you look at the economy of that? Well, looking back, as I was actually looking up some of the impact of what the DPR's restrictions, newer restrictions on neonicotinoid use would be. I look back to this Robert Mondavi Institute Center Wine Economics report of the cost of Pierce's disease in the California wine grape industry. For a little bit of economic, this was done in 2012. And if you go all the way through this report, it's actually a very interesting report to read if you like reading that sort of stuff. I found it fascinating. But they break down the different scenarios, the outbreak scenarios, and relative best guess baseline of how much this might cost, which this does, by the way, does not sync with the rationale that the DPR has produced to based on their economics. This is actually, I think, better research, or was more heavily researched here. But high outbreak impact can be as much as $557 million in Napa and Sonoma counties. So that's combined, that's 2,500 growers. Here they kind of mapped it out. This would be a statewide worst case scenario. This would be what this is defining as a statewide outbreak of glassy-winged sharpshooter and the impact of its ability to spread parasitic disease in our wine growing regions. So potential loss of $557,561,000 to 2,500 wine growers. So that's 700 growers in Napa, 1,800 Sonoma County. Based on this report, potential financial impact, statewide outbreak, total potential loss to 2,500 growers is $222,000 of loss per grower potentially. So for $166, basically buying insurance against $250,000 loss potential. How can a pest control district help with that? Well, trapping, monitoring, communication, and first response. This is from a report that David Haviland did based on chemical treatment and area-wide management for glassy-winged sharpshooter. And here he shows, area-wide management practices, coordinated spray treatments, and then a period when they backed off of some of the area-wide treatments. What happened was a resurgence of not only glassy-winged sharpshooter, but Pierce's disease. They restarted their efforts and they were able to get control. Now, in area-wide, this means that they're communicating about timing of spraying and what materials to use. And so, here you can see the map of the potential, and we know already glassy-winged sharpshooter does have potential to get up there. So here again with the economics, if each grower is saving $222,000, it really could fund a PCD for that grower I could fund a PCD for 1,337 years. Keeping this one short. So to learn more, we do have a website set up. It's SonomaCountyPCD.org. That's also where you can find the petition online. I'm going to click on this after because I don't know what that's going to do, the screen share. You can contact any one of us that's been working on this. Myself, Nellie Praetzel, Tony Crabb, Dana Grande, Cindy Cron, Eric Pooler, Katie Taylor, and Andy Wilson. We've all been very deeply involved in this. So you can reach out to any of us for more information on it. Cindy just produced an amazing article, and I encourage everybody to read it if you haven't already. It's in Wine Business Monthly. There's a link here, and we can also post that. I think it's some of the stuff that we're sharing.
I actually did post that in the chat box already. So
oh,
there's
great.
a link in the chat box if you want to click on it.
And let me try this here too to see if what happens here. No. So it's opening on a different window, so I don't know if you can see that or not. But there's a link if you go to this website, and we can post this in the chat as well. And there's a link directly to the petition. I guess you know. And that'll bring you to a printable, downloadable petition there that you could share then with growers. And I think that's all the time I have.
Okay. Let's see. So I just launched the last poll that if you are interested in receiving more information about the Pest Control District and their efforts, if you'd like to enter in your email address, this is an option for anyone that would like correspondence from the Pest Control District Coalition. In the chat box, I did put a link for the Wine Business monthly article, and also a link to quiz to day 1 for continuing education units. So if you are looking for continuing education units, the quiz link is also in the chat box. With that, let's see if you have any questions. What help do you need from Sonoma County growers now to move the pest control district forward?
So yeah, and thanks for that question, Katie. Yeah, so like I was saying, I think that the most important thing now is communicating with the landowners to make sure that they've received the petition, signed it, and return it. That's really what we need. Then we bring that to the Board of Supervisors. So nothing else will get done until that gets done. And then once the first board is put together, they'll build a budget that would have to come back to get the assessment approved to the assessment district. But basically, we need more petitions in hand. I have a stack of them at home. It's a pretty deep stack, but we need 3 times that. So thank you.
And what ideas do you have to better outreach to those who have not responded?
So I think some of the things that we're gonna, and actually our coalition's meeting again this Friday to start strategizing about our next kind of winter, spring strategy. And one thing that's really important for me is I feel like we have a lot of legwork, ground level, grassroots work to do. So we're gonna be reaching out to Appalachian groups. So if anybody is listening here is involved with their Appalachian groups, let them know. We're gonna be reaching out and trying to get some town hall meetings together. So just so that we can meet people and address questions one-on-one. Put petitions in people's hands if they haven't received them also, and just make ourselves generally accessible. Anybody who has questions, wants to meet, I'll make time to meet with you. We can come sit down and kind of go through the benefits and the research. We put a lot of research into this, and this is an all volunteer coalition. So basically, I don't think any of one of us thinks that it would be worth our time to be sitting here trying to get this done if there wasn't an absolute just gold seal benefit from getting this done for our industry.